The tap is over here with my pretty.
I need it after you.
Yeah, I know.
Hunter, Amber, and
Miss
Michelle.
Michelle. Where we going?
I got my.
I think I was going to yeah. Ready.
All right, we're live.
I'll get you another one. I'm sorry. Why did they forget you Friday?
Well, look at that. Group ain't even started yet. We're losing people.
I know it.
Hey, the most going in and out left though.
How you doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
I do have to. I will. I mean, but I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to go out there and make a phone call to my lawyer.
Oh, I don't doubt that, because if you don't call your lawyer, I'm gonna tell you what, you're in trouble. Holy.
Yeah, no, it's not that kind of lawyer. I went in trouble when I came in here.
Are you ever not sarcastic?
Am I being sarcastic?
Very much so.
Yeah, don't presume everybody's in trouble. I came here because I wanted to. I drove myself out of my Jeep.
People who have issues with drugs and alcohol like I do, we're all in trouble. It's not a bad thing. We need to come to the place where we can say, hey, I'm in trouble. I need some help. All right. We are, it's about 9 o'clock. So both places, happy Monday, and we need to today, if you're at South Point, make sure that you fill out your sign-in sheets and get them turned in and all of that kind of stuff. Make sure that you have your book with you, and then we're going to think about who in your class would like to, this week, probably tomorrow, have a 5-minute presentation that has something to do with what we are presenting. A 5-minute presentation. You're just going to stand up and have a little word to say. We're going to do it at South tomorrow, and we'll do it at North on Wednesday. So just think about that. If you don't want to do it, you don't necessarily have to, but think about doing that, because it's one of the things that we want to do, and we get that out of our book. We need to be able to. How many people like to speak publicly?
None.
Yeah. So what's the number one fear in the world?
Stage fright.
What is it?
Public speaking.
Public speaking is number one. So what's number two? Heights. What else?
The dark.
What is the dark? What else? Neither one of those are correct. What is it?
Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia? No. Y'all know what arachnophobia is? Scared of. Yes, ma'am. Change. That's a big one. Xenophobia is a big one. What's xenophobia?
Scared of Xena?
Scared of water.
Scared of people.
Oh.
But no, the number two fear, the number two greatest fear in the world today is death.
Yeah.
We're afraid of death. But look, public speaking is more feared than death. So we're more afraid to stand up and speak in public than we are death. Now here's the deal. We can practice public speaking a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. You can't practice death. I mean, you got one shot at that. You got to get it right the first time. Right. I mean, you're going to have to just do that right off. But you can practice public speaking. Is it important to be able to speak publicly?
Yes.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for you to be able to have the confidence and the wherewithal to be able to stand up and say, this is what I know. That's pretty good, isn't it? That off. All right. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about spirituality. If you'll notice, we have anger up on the board. We had a lady come in and spend all night, I guess, putting the anger iceberg on the board up there, and I just didn't have the heart to erase it. It will get erased, but I didn't want. So we have an angel over here. And so we're going to be talking about spirituality today and what that means to us. And we're going to define spirituality a little bit. And so what's our goal for today?
Spirituality.
Learning a little bit about spirituality. That's a hard word to say for me, and it's even a harder word to type for me, and I gotta have to type it in a whole bunch after a while while I'm doing my notes, but that's okay. So let me ask you a couple of questions about that. So, what is spirituality? Somebody got an idea?
A form of a higher power.
A form? Is that what you said? A form of a higher power? Okay. Yes, ma'am?
A belief in a relationship of...
A belief in a relationship?
I'm trying to say it. With your higher power.
A form of a relationship with your higher power? Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am?
I was gonna say, like, I know, like with indigenous people, they it's having somebody to talk to that you can't see, but you know they're there for guidance.
Having somebody to talk to.
Your own, like,
well, having somebody to talk to that you can't see that person.
Like being able to reflect or talk or ask or like God.
Okay. She said it was like God.
No, it's not like God. Spirituality to me is God.
Okay.
How you because you either don't or you do.
Okay.
But I believe I would say spirituality is a relationship that you have with your higher power or your God.
Okay. Spirituality is a relationship with your higher power or with God. As you know in AA we make the statement the God as we understand him or her or it and all of that kind of stuff. Look, spirituality has nothing to do with religion. A lot of people kind of misinterpret those two. They put those two together. When we think about spirituality, we think about religion, and that's one of the reasons a lot of people have problems with AA and NA and stuff like that, because the God thing kind of gets them. But here's the deal. Spirituality is more about how you relate to things around you than it is to religiosity. Religiosity is a set of rules and regulations that have been handed down by man through the years, and spirituality really doesn't have a whole lot to do with a set of rules and regulations, right? It has to do with your relationship with your higher power. Now, I think it's very, very important for us to get a hold of the right higher power. Because if we look, I knew a guy that worshiped trees. I like trees. Y'all like trees? I don't worship trees. I'm not going to worship trees. My higher power is the Lord Jesus Christ. Yours can be who you want to, and I don't have a right to tell you who your higher power is. Right? I don't. So your higher power can be just anybody you want it to be. But if you come and talk to me personally, I can tell you some stuff. So here's the deal. Spirituality is a broad concept. What does that mean? It's big. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that encompasses. There's a whole bunch of stuff in spirituality. In general, look, it can be different to everyone. Spirituality can. It can be different to everybody. Everybody can be going, I'll make a little bit fun of the fact that Linus is always in, where do you find Linus?
On the piano.
Where on the piano?
Well,
that's Schroeder.
Okay.
Yeah. Where do you find Linus?
With his blanket.
With his blanket.
Where? With his blanket?
With Charlie Brown.
It's just obvious to me that you guys haven't Charlie Browned enough.
Charlie Brown.
You find him in the pumpkin patch.
Oh yeah. No,
Right.
it's only on.
And what's he doing in the pumpkin patch?
Looking for the great pumpkin?
He's waiting on the great pumpkin. Everybody else is looking for Santa Claus, and he's looking for the great pumpkin to come by and give him some gifts. You know, does he? And the great pumpkin hasn't made it yet, has he?
Not all these
No.
years.
Is he liable to make it one of these days?
No.
No, he ain't coming. Yeah, that's why it's important to have the real, right, complete higher power. You need to make sure that your higher power is the one that you really need in your life, right? Because I'm going to tell you, is it okay for you to go sit in the pumpkin patch and hope for the great pumpkin to come by?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. If that's what you want to do, and if that's your higher power, you can do that. You know, AA says you can have the doorknob as your higher power. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I don't think, that's not my higher power. Never has been. But it has been some people's higher power. And it got them into a place where they could seek some recovery. Yes, ma'am.
You know why they say that? Is what they tell them all the time. Is telling them to say that because the very first thing you touch going into that AA meeting is a doorknob.
Ah.
The very last thing you touch is the doorknob going out the ship. In other words, that thought is with what you think is your higher power.
Yeah, and the way that it was explained to me is that I need to have something I can focus on. I need to believe there's something higher and greater than me. Now look, that's not real hard for me.
No.
Because I know who I am, and I know what I've done, and I know what my mind is like, and I know what my spirit is like, and I know, I need to have a higher power. Myself, I cannot do it on my own. I have to have a higher power. And I don't want a higher power that has no power. I don't want a powerless higher power. I want a higher power that is all powerful. That's what I'm seeking in a higher power. So, yes, ma'am.
Is that why they say lean not onto your own understanding?
Lean not to your own understanding. That's exactly right. Say, here's the deal. In general, spirituality includes the search for meaning and purpose in my life. Can I find meaning and purpose in the local church? Yes, absolutely. Can I find purpose and meaning without going to the local church?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. There's a whole lot of stuff. You can look at. I know a ton of LCDC counselors and other things like Miss Sierra is. All sorts of different counselors and all of that. Most of us have that desire to help people and do all of that stuff. And a lot of those counselors profess to be Christians, but there's also a lot of those counselors who don't. And they're finding purpose and meaning for their lives in helping other people. Yeah. And so they can do that. They can help other people. They can find that spirituality in the fact that they're finding purpose and meaning for their life. So here's the deal. Some of the
Excuse me. All right then.
Sorry.
Some of the things that we can find purpose and spirituality in have nothing to do with religion at all, right? So they're not the same. But in each of those, you can find the other. In religion, you can find spirituality, and in spirituality, you can find religion, but they don't define one another. Think about that. Religion does not define spirituality, and spirituality does not define religion. They define each other. They define themselves. They don't define They don't define each other. So, in general, spirituality includes the search for meaning and for purpose in life. Now, let me ask you this question: do we have purpose in our life today?
Yes.
Yes.
What's your purpose? Everybody say, yes, we have purpose. Then when we say, what's your purpose? Everybody went,
Mothering.
what's your purpose?
The purpose-driven life.
The purpose-driven life. She told us what the title of one of Rick Warren's books was. The purpose of my life is the purpose-driven life. Yes, ma'am.
Purpose. Well, I'm not. Like our own individual purpose in life?
Yeah, what's your purpose?
To be the best person that I could possibly be.
Be the best. All right, that's a purpose, to be the best person I can possibly be.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question. My purpose in life is to do the next best thing, even when nobody.
Do the next best thing. That's a good
nobody's
purpose. When nobody's looking. So if you're watching her, she's gonna do the wrong thing.
No.
Oh no, you're gonna do it even when people are watching.
Yeah.
Okay. She just wants to do the next right thing, no matter what.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Yes, ma'am.
My purpose is to use my past as a testimony to help other people.
Okay. Her passion in life, her purpose in life is to help other people. I think that's great. All of that was fantastic. My purpose in life is to honor God. That's my purpose. I'm not real good at it, but my purpose in life is to honor my higher power, who is the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm going to honor Him. That's my purpose. My whole purpose in life is to honor Him. And then secondarily, my purpose in life is to help other people. I want to help others. That's why I do what I do. I pastor a church. I'm over here with you guys. That's what I'm hoping to help you a little bit. And that's not true. I'm hoping to help you a lot. I'm hoping that 30 years from now, you're going to be clean, and you're going to be sober, and you're going to be in fantastic shape, and you're going to say, people are going to say, well, why are you in such good shape, and you're such a magnificent, wonderful person? And you're going to say, well, Dr. Garner said 30 years ago, and you're going to call me up and say, look, I'm still doing it. Can I send you $5? And I'm going to say, do I need to come get it, or y'all going to send it? No, that's my purpose, is to help other people. I want to do that, and I want to feel good about myself as well. So if I'm honoring my God and I'm helping other people, I'm going to feel good about myself. So that's my purpose in life. So if you got a purpose in your life, does your life have meaning? Yeah. So if my life has meaning, what does it mean for me if I'm an addict, if I have an addiction, and there's an issue that I have that's keeping me from fulfilling my purpose, then what should I do?
Quit.
Yes, ma'am.
Address the situation.
Address the situation.
She went to address it.
At least she was, yes. She was quiet as she left the group. Yeah, address the situation. Is there any other thing we want to say about that? If I'm going to have meaning in my life and something is keeping me from reaching the purpose that I believe God has given me for my life, what should I do about it?
We're going to get rid of that thing.
Change it?
Reflect on it, change it.
What was all of that?
You're going to get rid of that thing holding you back.
Get rid of that thing that's holding you back. I think one of the greatest things we need to do is first recognize that thing. What's holding us back from fulfilling our purpose in life? Us? Yeah. Addiction? Yeah. Other people in our lives that we refuse to dump out of our life.
People, places, and things.
Yeah. People, places, and things. Yeah, that we're not going to get rid of. Those things will keep us from reaching our purpose in life.
Say what you said. I was trying to write it down.
Recognize what?
You said recognize what's
You're-
holding us
you're-
back. Recognize what's holding.
You're such a nice person. You actually think that I remember what I said 5 minutes ago. You're so nice. Yeah.
Okay, now we know.
All right. In general, spirituality includes the search for meaning and purpose in life. Look, making it a universal human experience. What does that mean? If it's a universal human experience, what does that mean? One of the, what's that? Everyone experiences it. I mean, it's not just you that's trying to do this thing. Sometimes we get a little bit frustrated. I do. Sometimes I get a lot frustrated. I go to church and where there should be 100, 150 people at our church, there's 12. And that's frustrating. And sometimes you get so frustrated that on the way home, you feel like I ought not do this anymore. But my purpose is to do that, whether there's 150 people sitting in the pews or 12. That's still my purpose, right? Is to preach, teach, do what God would have me do. That's my purpose, whether there's 300 people there or there's 3 people there, right? That's still your purpose. So we've got to work at not doing that. We got to understand that everybody's going through the same things that we are. Everybody wants to have purpose in their life. Even people who are living under the bridge in LA, and you look at some of those people who are using drugs that make them turn into zombies. Yeah, it's just really crazy, and they live under bridges, or they just live on. Even they, in their lucid moment, they want to have some purpose and meaning in what's left of their life. Even old people like myself, we want to have the rest of our life. I want to have purpose and meaning in that part of my life. Look, it's a universal human experience. It may also involve cultivating a connection to something bigger than yourself.
Would you repeat that?
It may also cultivate a connection to something bigger than ourselves. Now, here's the first thing we got to do. We have to understand that there is something bigger than me. A lot of the time, what's the number one looking out for who?
Yourself.
Yeah. We do that a whole lot. We look out for self. We look out for our own self. Back in the 80s or something, they had this big movement that was looking out for number one. And I am number one. And I do believe we ought to look out for number one, right? But we're not number one. God is number one. And then other people are number 2. I'm way down the list at the very, maybe number 3, and it could be even a little bit less than that. So my goal for today is to make sure that I honor God and that you get what you need, and then I'm going to eat some spaghetti and meatballs at lunch.
Okay.
You're not doing that cake and chicken thing?
No, I got sketties and meatballs.
You got enough meatballs for everybody?
I have meatballs for everybody. I brought enough meatballs. I picked up that thing this morning my wife put together and put in the icebox, and it weighed like 9 pounds. I said, good God grief. She sent me 3 meals today. So, here's the deal. There's something bigger than I am. Look, what that's going to do, first off, is going to get a whole bunch of this ego junk that I see every day. I see people, they walking by the thing, they're walking down the hallway and they get by that glass, and when they're walking by, they're looking at the glass as they walk by, and look, yeah, okay. Yeah, and that's at both places. I see the guys walking down, they walk by that.
The man in the mirror.
Oh yeah, and we got a lot of ego, but when we get a lot of ego going on, we're vain and all of that stuff, and we tend to focus on ourselves, right? And we need to get to a place where we know we're not the center of creation. We're not it. There's something bigger than me. Could be something. Look, if we want to focus on it, could be nature. If you go out there, look, I love trees. I love grass. I think green is probably God's favorite color. I mean, there's all sorts of colors out there, but you look, just about everything is green.
Or yellow.
Yeah, green or yellow or something. But you go out and look, trees are green, grass is green, cheese is green. If you leave it in the icebox too long,
that's funny because you say that the way everything connects. It's like, so we got to go on the outing, got to go to the bar. Harrison, Miss Kermisha's son, we were all walking, and it's funny because, the minds of children, it's like, they're innocent, but I told him, I said, sometimes, you just got to stop and smell the roses. So here now, so I'm turning his head. He's like, where are the roses?
Yeah, he's looking for roses.
And I was like, no, it's just like stop and reflect, but it was just funny. And then you said that, I was like, wow, it's like,
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
What is spiritual nature?
What is a spiritual nature?
It's just, what is, I don't know what spiritual nature is.
Well, I'm thinking that if I have I have a nature within me that should be spiritual in nature. When you say something is spiritual in nature or something is chocolate in nature, it means that whatever it is meant to be whatever it is. If I'm spiritual in nature, that means that doesn't mean what I was looking at is spirituality found in nature.
Okay.
But spirituality in nature would mean that, all right, you can take her if she was sleeping anyway.
I was thinking spirituality and nature means.
Oh, okay. All right. So, if I'm spiritual by nature, that means I am doing what I'm doing because that is my nature. That's what I was made to do. So, we need to know that there is a being, there is stuff, there is something greater than I am. And look, that sounds simple, doesn't it? But I'm going to tell you, it takes us some time to sit around and to think about that and make the decision that yes, there is something greater than me. And I'm going to tell you this, that there is a lot greater than me. A lot of times in AA, we'll have people who don't like the God thing, so they'll take the group as their higher power. I've seen a lot of guys do that. Works pretty well. But I'm going to tell you, that's something I would never do.
Mm-hmm.
I would never do that because right after that it says, look, I'm going to turn my will and my life over to my higher power. And if the group's my higher power, I can just imagine one of y'all saying, let me have your car keys because like I'm your higher power. And I'm not going to do that. The fact is that all of you together are certainly more powerful than I am by myself, right? Yes. And we can look at it that way, but I'm not turning my life and I have completely turned my life and my will over to Jesus. Does that mean that I'm perfect now that I've turned my... No, because I failed in that endeavor usually 3, 4, 5 times a day because I do a lot of lusting. When I walk by a donut, I lust. Mm-hmm. I want to have that donut.
Or chicken.
I bought yesterday going to church. I bought 13 donuts and 2 kolaches, and 12 donut holes. Uh-huh. I didn't eat any of them. I ate one of the kolaches. But there was a lady at church that I owed a donut, and I had to bring her a donut. And then, my wife wanted some donut holes. And so there's a whole bunch of people eating donuts around me. And you know what they do when they eat donuts around me? They smile. So here's the deal. It can be found as nature. You can look at the universe itself. I get up early in the morning. I leave very early in the morning, and I get to see the moon, and I get to see the stars and stuff. And every so often, I get to see something inexplicable. What does inexplicable mean?
Wonderful.
Unexplainable.
What is it?
Nothing.
But God.
None of that is true. All of that is true, but none of that's what inexplicable means.
What does it mean?
Inexplicable means I can't explain it. It's unexplainable. Inexplicable. And I was watching about 3 or 4 months ago, and there were like 12 little spots of light way up in the sky, perfectly spaced apart, going across the sky. And I'm going, wow, that's interesting. And this morning I'm looking, and there was a little bitty tiny one way up there, and it went this way. Okay, yes, ma'am.
That is the new internet that they have from the guy Elon Musk has got new internet, and it's a satellite. That's what that is. I looked it up.
She's telling the truth, my brother. That's fine.
I looked it up. It's a new internet from Tesla.
I don't doubt that I do not doubt that there is a new internet that Elon Musk has put up in the sky or something like that. But y'all ain't taking away from the fact that I saw me some Martians. So
Hey, they could be riding on that.
Could be the universe. Yeah. It could be humanity as a whole. It could be God. God or a higher power, but when you are conversing about spirituality, it can be anything you choose it to be. Right? I recommend that you choose God to be your spiritual outlet, but it can be anything that you want it to be. Here, because everyone connects to themselves, others, and the world in different ways, different people respond to different experiences differently. That makes sense?
Everyone connects.
Everyone connects to themselves, others, and the world. Look, we're all different. We're all basically the same. We all have two eyes, a nose, a mouth. We all have, we're all basically the same. But when it comes to spirituality and it comes to a lot of other things, we respond to those things and those experiences completely differently. Right? My wife leads music at our church, and when she's leading the praise and worship, some of the people are doing this, and some of the people are doing that, and sometimes that frustrates her. But I have to tell her, people respond to God in different ways, and people respond to each other in different ways, and we respond to spirituality in different ways, right? Let me ask you a real quick question. If we respond to spirituality in different ways, is that okay?
Yes.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, it is okay. It's all right. It's okay for us to respond to spirituality in different ways. We can't really tell someone how to do that, how to respond to spirituality. One person's spiritual practice may involve attending a place of worship, praying, or reading from a holy text. That's mine. This morning I read from the Old Testament and I read from the New Testament.
What'd you read?
This morning I read Isaiah in the Old Testament and the 10th chapter of Hebrews in the New chapter, in the New Testament. So I do that every morning. And I go to church twice on Sunday morning and then on Wednesday night. So that's my connection with my higher power. But other people go out. I had a cousin who used to, when he was younger, would go out and worship the trees. I mean, seriously, worship the trees. He'd hug on the trees and all of that kind of stuff.
Tree hugger.
Oh,
He
wow.
was a tree hugger for real. But he has since, now he's a deacon at his local church, so his idea of spirituality changed, which is another point that we need to discuss a bit. Can your spirituality change?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, should it?
No. Yeah.
You should. I think that you should mature.
It should evolve.
I think it should evolve. I think you should mature in your spirituality, even when you're in the church. I think that you should get to a place in the church where you mature and you move forward a little bit. Yes, ma'am. Good luck with all. Yeah, good luck with
May
all
I
that.
be excused, but would
So we're supposed. The Bible tells us to become perfect. What does that mean?
Constantly seek to be better.
Yeah, you're not going to be perfect, but in the Bible, perfection means just becoming mature,
Yeah.
becoming grown up in the Word. So, from a holy text, others may find more solace by spending time in nature. I really like to spend time in nature.
Yeah.
My wife and I are going in October. We're going to take off on the 13th, and we're going to Louisiana, then to Florida, then up into Alabama, and then back.
Colorado is really pretty.
Colorado is very nice, but there's too many of those in Colorado. Half of Colorado is flatter than a pancake. The other half got all these hills and stuff in it. And so we're going to go, where we're going, there's a few hills, but when you're pulling a 30-foot trailer behind you, going up and down hills is a little bit challenging, and I don't feel like being challenged at this point in my life, so we're going to. Plus, when we get up high in the hills, it hurts my wife's leg for some reason when you go up in the altitude changes hurts your legs, so we're going to stay a little bit farther down south. But I love all that stuff. I love being, and we go to state parks. We don't just stay in a park. We go to state parks. They're cheaper, and they're nice, and they're safe, and they're well maintained, and they have showers and bathrooms and all sorts of good stuff out there. It's great, but I don't worship the trees around me. I worship the God that made those trees. And we just have a great time. We have Bible study together, and we'll when it's Sunday comes, we'll be in church, and I'm hoping to find a place to minister myself, but we'll see. Praying, reading from a holy text. Others find solace in spending time in nature, considering a piece of art. How many people like art? I love art. In our home, we probably have 30 pieces of art. And some of them are way expensive pieces of art. And when I show people pictures that I have of the art that we have on the wall, they think we're rich folk. I had a friend who used to, doesn't have any anymore, but used to have an auction. And he would auction all of those things. And I've got one piece of art that has a deal on there that the artist signed and put it on there for, saying that it's the real thing and all of that kind of stuff. Oh no, I wish it was. But there's another guy that's nowadays he's pretty big guy. But I would get that thing that would sell, for $4,000 or $5,000. I got it for $15. Yeah, it's okay. People don't know what they are. I buy them, and so we've got them all over our house. I have one that's a picture of a cowboy standing on a hill, and he's on his horse, and so he's on this hill looking at this valley, and it's beautiful. And it's hanging up there with all those other things. But when I was working at the prison, every time a new warden comes in, they do something goofy. And so the new warden came in, and we had in our mess hall over there, the whole wall was a beautiful mural with all sorts of stuff that the prisoners had painted. It's beautiful. So the warden had that painted over. I said, "Hey, you're so smart." And then he had all of the paintings that they had done taken off of the wall and thrown away. And so I said, "Well, look, I'll throw that one away for you." So, so I took it and I threw it away on my wall. And it's still there, And that thing was painted 30 years ago. So it's just that guy's out doing, and doing all that stuff. So, but he can't have his thing back. So what's important is to find, look, there is no wrong way to be spiritual. Some people get there by just listening to music. Sometimes it's a spiritual thing for me to listen to old rock and roll. Back when there was good music. I don't know the music y'all listen to today. Ain't music. But anyway, back when there was good music, like the Hollies and people like that, sometimes I get it. It's kind of spiritual for me to get back. That doesn't mean that's my religious thing that I do, but I do like to listen to that. And sometimes I can get to a place of spirituality just listening to some of those groups. So you can do it that way. There's no wrong way to be spiritual. And we're going to go over this week. This is our spiritual week, and if you have your book, you'll notice on page 21 that this week is Spiritual Health Week, and as we're going through the spirituality, look, it goes through 5 different points where you can be in your spiritual walk. And if you'll notice, there's nothing on there that's trying to get you to become whatever we are. 21. On page 21, there's usually not a page number, but some of the ones from North have page number. I have a South book, and it doesn't have a page number on there. But it shows you where we go. It says, look, unfamiliar, unwilling, confusion, tepid, confident, or devout. So we may need to move from one of those to the other as we become more mature in our spiritual walk. But there's nobody here at Land Manor that's telling you need to be a Baptist, or you need to be a Methodist, or a Catholic.
What's that?
It's on page, you got it right there.
Methodist.
Yeah, Methodist, Methodist. We're not even telling you need to be a Christian, although I think you need to be. You need to have some spiritual connection that we are telling you. The big book tells you, and AA tells you, you need to be connected to a higher power. You need. Why is that? Why do we think you need to be connected to a higher power?
Something to look up to.
Something you can look up to, someone you can look up to,
It's something that makes you feel like you're held accountable.
something that helps you be accountable. Really, actually, I am accountable to my God. I fail Him all the time.
Every day.
Every day, usually every day. Yeah, don't thank you for reminding me. Usually every day I fail Him. This morning I was coming to work and I'm going up to the stop sign. Stop sign's about from here to that door, and I'm doing about 40. I'm slowing down for the stop sign. There's a service station right here, and a guy in a big black truck came right out. I mean, right there. I had to hit my brakes. He never slowed down. He just and went up to the stop sign. I had to nosedive. My phone and all my junk went all the way up under the mark. It was just my lunch and everything is going everywhere. And I'm going, and immediately I wanted to ask him to step out of his car so that I could shoot him without, so at that point in time, I managed to deal with it. I managed to deal with it, but for that moment, I allowed myself not to be connected well to my higher power. Because here's the deal: my higher power loves me deeply, loves me intensely, loves me insanely, and there's nothing I can do to make him not love me. Nothing. But the guy in the truck, he loves him the same way, the exactly same way. Now, he'll love her as much because she's I don't mean that. He loves everybody the same. You had something?
So it's kind of like, I was just like, when you just like, they finalized it, it's like, we weren't made to, but he loves it because we do depend on him. Like even when we mess up, you know what I mean? It's like, because we ask for God, it's like, I'm sorry I did that, help me with that next time.
It's not about our performance. It's about who we know.
Right.
So here's the deal. There's no wrong way to be spiritual. No wrong way to do it. What's important is to find something that personally speaks to you and helps you find meaning in your experiences. I do find meaning when my wife and I are out in the woods. Well, look, one of the things we don't go camping. I've had people say, well, you guys just go camping every year. We don't go camping, we go glamping. What's glamping?
Glamorous camping.
Glamour camping. Yeah, we talked about that the other day. We've got a 30-foot trailer with a big old color television in it. So after we get ourselves in and we're through fighting the mosquitoes and stuff, and we get in there and we turn the TV on, make some popcorn, and it's like being at the house. But it's, we're away from everything else. Sometimes the telephones don't work, and that's all right. Sometimes television doesn't work, according to where you are. We can pick up the local channels. I may get something so that we can get something else before we leave this time. But, say it again?
T-Mobile Wi-Fi box. You can plug it in, take it everywhere.
T-Mobile Wi-Fi.
It's Metro PCS.
You just need to write all that down for me and give me a couple of bucks so that I can afford it.
You take it with you. I plugged it in my car.
I don't.
It's that white one, huh? That white box?
No, it's Metro PCS. It's the black box.
Oh, the
It has no cable cords.
The first month is free.
But now Wi-Fi.
You're going to have to write it down for me. Yes, ma'am.
The first month's free.
Yes, sir.
I do storm damage. That's when all the towers and everything's got destroyed. So, OnStar, if you have OnStar in your vehicle and you push the button and you talk to them and stuff, it's like you won't be able to get out or receive phone calls and stuff, but they will. You'll be up in the mountains and stuff. But just keep that in mind. OnStar.
Oh yeah, we have that. So in this way, look, you can find meaning in those experiences. In this way, definitions of spirituality can change throughout a person's life. Doesn't have to remain the same. Sometimes, look, we're going to really enjoy, we're going to be able to get close to God through our experiences, and those experiences are because we're out in the woods or something like that. At other times, it can be something else. How many folks feel like they can get close to God or close to their higher power through their grandchildren? or their children. You people aren't old enough to have grandchildren, but I have
I
great.
am.
Almost.
I have great grandchildren. And I'm watching them. I've already, threatened their lives. I said, if you make me a great grandpa, yeah, they're gonna have to find you in the woods. We're gonna. So anyway, but you can. Things change as you get a little bit older, and like my cousin there, who used to, he really worshiped trees and stuff. He's now worshiping a different God, so that changed on him. The guy that got me started pretty much in this field. A really good fella. He was my boss for a long time. He heard me one day tell somebody, I don't believe that the doorknob should be your higher power. And after that group was over, he called me to his office and he said, look, Doc, I don't want you to ever do that again. I said, what are you talking about? He said, don't you tell people, thank you, man. He said, don't you tell people that the higher power, the doorknob can't be their higher power. I said, well, that's silly as a goose to me. He said, let me tell you something. When I came to AA 40 years ago, the big deal was I didn't want to go into AA because I didn't believe that a God that's supposed to love me could let my life get the way it was. And said I wasn't going till somebody said, the doorknob. He said, so for the first 10 years, the doorknob was my higher power. Now he's a deacon in a church, and the name of that church is something other. But he said the doorknob allowed me to move to a place where I accepted God as my higher power. He said I couldn't do it because there's a lot of people that feel like
it's scary to go through those doors for the first time.
Oh,
I
it
have
sure
to go
is.
back through them again.
It sure is. And it's people do look. They're kind of mad at God, and they look if He's a loving God, how can He let my life get to that point? He didn't. You did. We need to understand that. He didn't do it, you did it, but we can use the doorknob as a stepping stone and get us to there. Besides that, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Changing.
This here ain't church, right? This is not Sunday school. This is not church. AA is not church. AA is not Sunday school. So what we're trying to do in AA and what we're trying to do here is get people into recovery.
Finding that deep-seated issue.
Yeah, we want to get you into recovery. Now, see, I'm a Christian. I love the Lord Jesus Christ, and the Bible tells me if I deny Him, He will deny me. So no matter what, y'all hear me say that?
No matter what.
I will never deny Him. It doesn't make me any difference where I am or who I am. I'm always going. Everybody's going to know. Look, I'm a Christian. I love the Lord Jesus Christ, and I'm in recovery. Those things I make sure everybody knows. Because don't offer me nothing to drink. He offered me nothing. So look, definitions of spirituality can change. Most people's idea of spirituality, like you said earlier, evolves and adapts as they are exposed to new perspectives and experiences. I'm 71. In November, I'll be 72. And if you guys are still here,
I knew you was are you a Scorpio? What's your
Both.
birthday?
My birthday is November the 2nd. So if you guys are still here, I expect gifts. Yes, ma'am? No.
Oh,
Of course not.
that's awesome. It's my kid's birthday.
Is that really?
Yeah, my mama's birthday. I think he's a Scorpio. He is a Scorpio. Yeah.
3 out of 4.
And I am not a Scorpio.
You're not?
No, I'm Christian. I don't.
Oh,
I'm not a Scorpio.
okay, yeah.
That stuff is what the devil and people and all of that used to. None of that stuff has anything to do with me. So here's the deal. Look, spirituality is often connected to larger questions about life, the human condition, and personal agency. A lot of the time, yes, ma'am. Personal agency means the way I see my life, the way I live my life. Personally, what I'm doing, what I'm experiencing. So, here's some of the questions that we ask ourselves that may be answered by spirituality. One of them is, what's the purpose of my life? Yes, ma'am.
What was the thing you said right before personal agency?
Personal agency.
The thing I said just before personal agency is the human condition.
What is that?
The human condition is how the world is today.
Oh my God.
What I'm looking around right now, this morning on the way to work, I heard about some people being shot to death in where Austin or something like that. Yeah, people die in Houston every day.
Oh yeah.
All of that kind of crazy mess. So that's the human condition. Right now, we're depraved. We're not following after God the way that we should be, and things are pretty bad right now. So here's some of the questions that spirituality can have. What's the purpose of my life? And we talked about that already. Here's the deal. If we don't, we all need to have a purpose in our life, right? I have met a lot of ladies that their kids are their purpose. That's their whole purpose. Kid. I have met a whole lot of addicts, especially when I was in my own addiction, but through what I do and all of that kind of stuff. And their whole purpose was what? Whatever their drug was, to get high. Had a young man that told me he didn't care what happened. He was going to stay high every day of his life.
Wow. That's dedication.
And that may have happened that way. I don't know. When he left my anger, he was in my anger class. When he left my anger class, I never heard from him again. I had him for 14 weeks, and then after that, he was gone. He may have stayed high every day of his life after he got it, because we tested him every time he come in. Every time. My boss at that time, I was at the best group, and my boss at the best group, everybody that came in got tested every time they came in. Every time. And so, he stayed clean for 14 weeks, but then after that, who knows? So what does it mean to be a good person? That's one of the questions that my spirituality is going to answer, or to help me to answer. Do you have an answer for it? What's a good person?
Do unto others as you wish.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Is that a good person? What if you like getting slapped upside the head? Most people don't.
Trying to be the best you can.
Trying to do the best you can, yes. Integrity.
Good morals.
Yeah, integrity as opposed to outegrity.
And good morals.
Good morals. Yeah, I think a good person is a person who just strives to do the next right thing.
Yeah.
You look at that situation and strive to do the right thing in that, whatever that right thing is, right? And sometimes that doing the right thing can cost you. Can cost you a job. Can cost you friends. Look, if me doing the right thing as I see the right thing, as I've learned to be the right thing, if that costs me friends, is that okay?
Yeah.
I didn't probably need those people in my... What if it cost me a job? Is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't...
you need another one.
Yeah, you can get another one. I don't want to lose my job. So this is why I'm not going to yell at her for, doing all that stuff she's doing in group instead of paying attention. But I don't want to lose my job because, I'm always about what the Bible says. What does the Bible say about work?
You don't work, you don't eat.
You don't know. That's not about it.
Okay.
You don't work on Sundays.
Well, I thought it said if you don't work, you don't eat.
A closed mouth don't get.
No, that's a street slang.
Shit. My bad.
It says work is a blessing.
Oh.
And it says that God will bless what a man puts his hands to, or a woman puts her hand to. That means if you go put your hand to a job, you can expect the Lord to bless it if you actually put your hands to it. You actually do some work, right? So, why do I... Here's spirituality really comes into play when you ask the question, why do I suffer? Why is there suffering in the world? So we may want to go and think about that and have our spirituality answer some questions like that for me. Does it look like your higher power loves you a whole lot when you got a toothache?
No.
It don't feel like it.
That's just
A,
what
tooth-
happens. That's
a
just life.
toothache is the worst pain in the world.
That and earache.
Or earache. Any I don't like nothing to hurt. Right? I don't even like it when you hurt. That don't make me feel good. So when people hurt, I want y'all to stay somewhere else. I don't want to be seeing all of that. But why do we suffer?
That's just what happens.
That's it's just a normal human condition, right? As you grow older, things get a little stiffer, things get a little harder to deal with. Joints get a little bit not like you want them to be, right? Yeah, they do. So another one is, does everything happen for a reason?
Yes.
Does it? Everything happens for a reason. Just like this, the fact I just looked up from my paperwork and you were looking at the clock. So, that happens for a reason. So I can say, hey, I don't know that everything happened for a reason. But I do think that God is involved in everything that happens. This morning, I was able, last week, I went right down here to Monica Brothers and I got 4 new tires. Had my front end aligned. Expensive. Got all those tires and everything. My tires were so messed up that you could see through them almost. They were in bad shape. You could see the air circulating in my tires. They were in bad shape. And so I went down there and got those tires. And this morning, guess what happened?
Flat tire?
No. Somebody hollered. Y'all don't remember what I just told you? See, that's why it hurt my feelings in group.
Yes, somebody cut you off. He had
somebody cut me off. I had to hit my brake. And I had new tires, had perfect traction. If I'd have had that other group of tires, those other set of tires on there, I'd have slid right into them.
Yeah.
And it would have been bad. So I think some things like that happen for a reason. God made me go down. My wife happened to see my tires, and she could see it's not really, it's cords, but they were coming out. And so she said, you got to get some tires. So I had to go, because I'm cheap. I don't buy stuff.
Yeah.
That's right.
$3.93.
What y'all doing on that?
That's a pretty good shirt.
Who's on the house?
So, and some people draw houses in class and distract other people because she over there helping her how to draw a house in class. And so, okay. So when they relapse a couple of months from now, and they say, well, I thought I didn't learn nothing from Dr. Garner, but I know how to draw a house. There was this girl sitting right next to me, and she told me how to draw this here house. Okay.
That I can't live in.
That I can't live in.
It's my future.
So how am I connected to the world around me?
I drew the angel.
Nature. Spirituality in nature.
Human nature.
That's a much better answer.
So the people we love.
Yeah. But what's that? Human nature? So this is a question that we ask of our higher power. How am I connected to all these other people? And one of the things that sometimes we want to be just kind of on our own and all of that stuff, and we want to tell ourselves, I'm not connected to all these crazy people. I'm not connected to all of those things around me. I'm not connected to this world, but we are.
Yeah.
We're all part of the same experience. We're all connected one way or another.
It's the same shared experience or same experience?
That's just I think that's a good way that you said it. Same shared experience. Both of those same experience or shared experience. We all have some of that going on. So lastly, what's the best way to conduct myself in the world? That's where we get our spirituality going on, and we ask our God, we ask our higher power, what's the best way for me to conduct myself in this world? What's the best way for me personally to conduct myself?
With integrity.
With integrity. She likes that word. Look it up so you know what it means. You use it all the time, so you look it up. But that's true. In integrity, we need to be, what's the word? Integral. What does the word integral mean?
To live with integrity.
To live with integrity. To walk with integrity. What does integrity mean?
Doing the right thing when no one
Doing the right thing when no one knows it.
To do
Paying
the right
my bills on time. Does that show integrity? Yes. Not ever using drugs around my children. Is that integrity?
Yeah.
Is that true? Can you do that?
No.
It's
hard.
No, you can't. Look, it's an impossibility. You cannot do it. If you use drugs 50 miles away from your children, when you get back there, the fact that you use drugs is that you're bringing that home.
It's a contact drug too.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. So we talked earlier about doing what?
The right thing.
The next right thing. We're doing the next right thing. So that's the best way for me to conduct myself in the world. What's the first thing we have to do when we get into recovery?
Go to a meeting, find a higher power.
Go to a meeting, find a higher power, what else?
And admit we have a problem.
Admit we have a problem. Get honest with ourselves. Stop lying when we stop lying to ourselves, what else will we do?
Stop lying to people around.
We'll stop lying to other people. So that's part of doing the next right thing. Tell the truth. Even if the truth is not popular. Tell the truth. Even if the truth is going to get you into a little bit of Dutch with somebody. Tell the truth. You know, have you ever tried to tell somebody, I just don't like you?
I say that all the time.
Just don't like you.
Have you ever had to do that?
No.
I have had to do that. I've had to tell a guy, look, we can't be friends. He said, well, why not? I said, I just don't like you, man. I just don't.
I don't know what it is, and I just don't
Well, that's real good. She said, you just distance yourself from it.
Yeah, you
But
ain't gonna
look,
flat out say
I was trying.
showing up.
I was trying to distance myself from this guy. I was trying to get away from him, and he's always right there. You know, I'm taking my girlfriend to the movies, and he's right there. I say, you know what? You need to leave. So we're going to go on our break. So come back at about 16 minutes after we went over 1 minute.
16.
Yeah, we went over 1 minute.
Talking about crossing. Oh shit! So I told him if he does, he's gonna be there here this weekend.
Hey, I
You have
talked
to
to
get
somebody.
it approved. Yeah, well, Miss Jessica already. Okay, I was gonna say don't tell her. No, she knows. Okay. I just don't like
Am
you.
I in your way?
You're a little bit.
I've always.
I just don't like you, man.
Hey,
You know?
Hunter, do you know Jennifer Rodriguez?
You said you've always known.
Do you know Jennifer Rodriguez?
Oh, always wrong?
Hunter?
No, I'm not always there.
Oh, where's my dad?
They're
Shut up.
fucking great.
No, where? Oh, there. What did you want,
Do
Mama?
you know Jennifer Rodriguez?
Sounds
Love your
familiar.
actions. She said you dated her at your work. And that shit
Oh, Justin Luna? Yeah.
They got Justin Luna.
Who's her nephew?
Maybe it is Justin.
Who's her nephew?
It's a Mexican dude.
I've only dated a few
No,
Mexicans.
that's the baby. Who's from the fantasy?
That's Carlos.
Yeah, that's
No, it's
Are
not.
you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
She said somebody's name.
Someone says
Not
She
Carlos.
I don't
Did you
know
say
what
no?
Who is it again?
Jennifer
Oh,
Rodriguez.
I don't smoke.
Good for you, sister.
Oh,
Don't start.
Always
Man,
is.
my mama would kill me if I come back with a whole new addiction.
She's talking about Jacob, and that's
Yeah,
not
One
the
in
nephew.
for one,
That's
a
her
couple
cousin.
another.
Yeah,
I
Jacob.
got one left.
Yeah, I know her. I know her real well.
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
Somebody will.
I know
Somebody
her.
will show me. I'm home though.
Hey, somebody start.
I got we gotta do it.
You're gonna be my neighbor, ma'am. Sick of this place. Hey, I'm trying. Okay, there's no doubt in my mind these motherfuckers are trying to run me off. Is there anything on the back of my shirt? I don't know. I didn't know that. Okay, yes,
I came today, I came Friday and told all y'all, when I made the copies, it's the case management form. Just fill it out, and so when I come get you, I get
Okay.
it say case management.
Yeah,
You do the date, 9 days, and then your request, what you need to do. And I'm gonna do everything, right, Jeff?
why did I feel like they are running me out of here?
Who?
All that is running me out of here.
Who them?
Like,
Who?
oh my God, I just want to go. I want to leave.
Well, talk to me, what happened?
I just, all of it. All of it. You can use your phone so many days, phone breaks. I have to leave a message. I only get 15 minutes with my dogs. Didn't realize about the orientation. I really didn't think my brother, this doctor, has his own. I mean, I know it's policy, but policies also, if you get stole from somebody, ought to get repercussions, but it don't happen. I know my daughter was supposed to pick my Jeep up, but last week, Miss Casey said, no, your Jeep's going to stay with your keys. So my brother, the first thing he says to me when he drives up is, Brady, you need to come get your Jeep. And didn't realize while Miss Casey was saying, no, your Jeep's going to stay here with your keys. But I know my daughter called up here. Tell my friend to bring something up here. They said, well, tell him to drop it in the mailbox. He comes up here, drop me something off. They're running me out of here. They ain't got nothing I want to learn from them. They're fucking liars and they don't keep their word. If you ain't got your word, you ain't got shit I need to know from you. I don't give a fuck about a queen baby.
Have you talked to?
I try to talk to everybody, so now I don't get to make my phone call to the lawyer that I've been asking since.
You gonna make it with me?
I know, but what I'm saying is like the way it was put to me is like, well, no, you wanted to go smoke, so you just have to wait on your phone call.
No, you don't. Just fill this out, and as soon as she finishes, I'm gonna come get you. I already told you. You gonna make your phone call. I promise you. Just fill it out. Everybody has to fill it out because I have to put it in a binder.
It's like I'm just. Oh my God, man.
Come on, you better than this. Come on.
That's like human shit being on my pillows this fucking morning. What is up with that shit? I've already asked to be moved out of that room.
Yeah.
That one little girl getting blamed. I don't know the other little girl that got caught because she stole my lighter that she manipulated, scraped on the ground, took the sticker off, wrote on it. CJ.
Who is CJ?
And then the day she got up, the very next day, she was embarrassed. I know she was embarrassed because the lighter. I'm 65. I got 2 daughters. I know all these little games. It's like you got caught. You picked a lighter up. You took the new sticker off. You wrote on it, scraped it on the ground to make it look different, and stuck it in your pocket. When I went out there to get my lighter, the only reason I got it back is because the people that saw her pick it up and do all that shit to it when I asked for my lighter knew it was mine. You knew you were stealing that motherfucker when you manipulated it. No repercussions. Thursday, when we went to the park, they knew on Thursday we weren't going to Walmart on Friday. Come to find out, the guys got to go.
I know.
My safe mechanism in my body, once you've lied to me, you can't teach me anything. I don't ask for permission. If I need a pack of cigarettes, if I can't trust myself here, I can't trust myself anyway. I'm 65 years old. I don't need permission to go to the store and come back. If I tell you I'm going to the store and coming back, I'm not here because I lied. Yeah. I'm here because I couldn't just, I was down to a nickel and a dime a day. I couldn't put it down. I wanted to put it down because I wanted to go back to work.
Yeah.
I wanted to be clean and sober. I can go to that store and come back.
So we're not.
I'm just done. I'm done.
Oh no, I'm gonna find out. I promise you.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry because I need cigarettes. I have one.
I'm gonna find out. I seen Chica this morning, but when I saw her I was doing something, I even asked. I finna text her. I'm gonna she got one of our.
I surely hope so. I hope it's soon too.
And you know what I'm thinking. I love to go into the park and walking and all that. Loved it. But like, okay, so like nobody getting in trouble for the things that they're doing because there's no repercussions of you doing it. It's like, might not be a good idea. I thought maybe it was. Okay, so like you know, I can do all my shopping I got to do in 15 or 20 minutes. It's not Parkdale Mall. We're not going from one store to another. You're going over there. You already got a list. Go in there and get it. You're done with it. Take 3 or 4 people at a time. Been a nice walk. You got a little bit of exercise, and you went over and you got what you wanted. Yeah, it's a little more expensive, but you ain't having to wait for the van to load up.
And then somebody at Target.
I'm just saying. You know what I mean? It'd be a little outing.
I just need cigarettes, so.
People need cigarettes. You know what I told these people? You know what I told them? Know what I told them? Make you a list, because when they say we don't get to go to Walmart today, because I know they say we don't get to go, but I mean, don't get to. That's just how my mind works. I done told them, make you a little list, because I'm getting in my Jeep and I'm going to Target. I'll get everything y'all need, make the list, send me the money, and then I'll go from there to that store, and I'm going to get all your cigarettes and bring them back. That's how adults do stuff.
Yeah, I mean.
I'm not.
Huh?
Who?
You.
Me? Or her?
Miss Emmett.
Oh.
But you know what I'm saying? I just thought that was a good idea.
Then I was agreeing, we're not. Oh my God, I can't. I'm just like, ugh. I have shit. So I hear you might be getting out tomorrow, so I'm just like, you know, I can't like focus on anything. But that, oh God, time this group over with. Because if he doesn't,
Well, no, we have. I mean, this next group will go until 11, and then we have a 2-minute break, and then we have 11 minutes away.
I see Dr. Gardner in his car.
if he doesn't get out, that's going to be some time. Because 4,200 and tampering with evidence.
Let's get what you got in the back.
Put me alone. You want some?
No,
You know what, Kristen? I need you to calm it down. No.
It doesn't trigger me. I'm sorry if it triggers me.
Oh no. My creamer does not trigger. I'm sorry. Kristen.
Mel, you care about me.
She said you care about me.
I'm discharging you.
Why you don't know? You know
I can't do this. She's in trouble a bit.
So,
Yeah, you
Miss
can.
Simmons.
I mean, I don't think she's in trouble. I mean, look what they're gonna say. I mean, they'll probably tell her not to be trying to cause a ruckus, and you know. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
If she's in trouble, they'll probably ask her about that stuff on her pillow or something.
Oh yeah, poo-poo.
Yeah, I don't know. About the poo poo. That don't make sense, man. I can't stop. Where Janae? Y'all know where Janae's going?
Never seem to get enough. Take a look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I got. I never seem to get enough. Bitch.
It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. I'm a fool ass. What?
I just wanted to say a cuss word.
Hey, I cuss a little.
My bad. Are we
I cuss a
alive?
lot. Okay.
That one's so gross.
I cuss a lot. Okay. I got the mouth of a sailor.
Ooh, jeez. Well,
I feel good.
if I can just calm down, it'd be great. Okay. And I won't be able to until I know whether or not he's going to be out. You know?
I gotta get some coffee.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm alone? Fuck. Again, double fuck. Triple fuck. Quadruple fuck.
Fuck your face, Uncle Fucker.
Fuck your face.
Go ahead.
Come on. Face the sky. Let's just
Did y'all get out of here late? Is that why?
I was really surprised that Miss Chastity wasn't like, because I was like, well, if he gets out, can he come visit me? As long as he has an ID. And she said.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
Wow.
you know, most rehabs is like if you're not married, like your old man or like your boyfriend or whatever can't come.
Yeah.
Or, but
Yeah,
they,
like,
they have no problem calling me.
she told me all this about how her husband's in federal, or
Yeah.
has been in federal prison and all this. I'm like,
She's your counselor?
Uh-huh.
Chastity? Oh,
yeah. And I'm like, well, he wants to be clean, so that's really like, you know.
And even if he didn't, like, I mean, like, they can't come, you know what I'm saying? Like, or supposedly they're not supposed to. But I've seen a few people up here who've been, I mean, like, if they're in high, then there's something, you know.
There's
You know,
perma chopped.
I mean, like, maybe like that sometimes, but.
Well, if it's like that, then they can go with drug tests, right?
Yeah. I think they'll threaten with a drug test or something. But, I mean, like, how is that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Only thing I have to say,
I like
I'm starving.
So, y'all don't be shocked. He has a tattoo on his forehead.
that's fine.
It's fine.
I mean, I'm not doing nobody. I wouldn't take him off from him.
Well, he did that whenever they took custody of his son from him. He was grieving, and
Yeah.
he
If you like that.
tattooed his face.
Loosen up my
See what
butt,
I
baby.
can I understand that. You know, we do crazy shit whenever we're grieving. But I don't know that I would attach it to my forehead.
What's it say?
I don't
I'm
know.
singing that song. Wow.
We didn't get together until I went to jail. But it's like a fucking rectangle. I don't know.
Saying I.
Maybe. We're gonna see. We're gonna inspect his face really good when he comes.
Oh, so you haven't seen it?
Yeah.
But as I was
You haven't
saying,
seen it yet? I haven't.
you have T-Mobile?
I've seen one like a video of it.
Oh, okay.
You know,
No.
but you can't
I
really
mean,
see
it
that
just
good.
looks like a little box. Like
But the good thing is we
then
never
you
used
just
together.
plug it into an electrical outlet.
We know a lot of the same people we never
There you
used
go.
together.
Now it's movie night and dancing.
I do not know.
All right, we're back live, and we've been live this whole time. So whatever you guys were talking about, they know
Okay.
everywhere in the world.
I mean, I guess. Yeah.
So we're going to finish up. We're still looking at our spirituality thing. So here's the deal. Spirituality is the aspect of humanity that refers to the way individuals seek and express meaning and purpose and the way they experience their connectedness to the moment. Y'all, I want to go over there again because here's the deal. Some of the times we don't really, when we talk about stuff like that, we kind of surface read it. What does that mean? We just kind of skim the top. We just go over it and say, okay, all right, that's a good thing. That's something that we need to think about. But look, spirituality is a very, very important part of who we are. It's something that says a lot about us. So, spirituality is the aspect of human nature, or the what does that mean? Spirituality is the part of humanity that refers to the way individuals seek and express meaning and purpose, and the way they experience their connectedness to that moment.
Can you repeat that one more time?
To self, I hadn't read it all yet. To self, to others, to nature, and to the significant or the sacred. So what that, I'm going to read it again, but so what that tells us is that anything that is significant to us or sacred to us can be a part of our spirituality, right? Look, one of the things that is sacred to me is my recovery.
Mm-hmm.
I see that as a sacred thing. I see that as service to God. Being sober is one of the ways that I express service to God. So, I'm going to read it one more time because somebody asked me to read it one more time. You ready? Spirituality is the aspect of humanity that refers to the way individuals seek and express meaning and purpose and the way they experience their connectedness to the moment, to self, to others, to nature, and to the significant or sacred. So if something's sacred to you, or something is, look, I see sacred as a step up from significant. But if something is significant in your life, then you can find a place of spirituality in that thing that's significant. So if the nature, trees and waterfalls and skunks and stuff like that, I have a trap that I put out on my back porch. I have 2 of them, and I catch aminals in it quite often. It's a humane trap. It's not one that's going to cut them in half or something like that. So I catch them in that thing, and then I haul them off about 2 or 3 miles from my house and let them go at a creek. And they really enjoy that. They run down to the creek, and as they're going, they're saying, and that means in their language, thank you for letting us out at the creek. I'm sure that's what it means. I'm sure that would. But you can watch. I watch those little guys. Usually we catch possums. And I watch those little possums take off. And when you dump them out of the cage, they're hanging on.
Yeah.
They don't, so you have to shake them, and finally they'll fall out of the thing and they'll look around like, oh, and they'll take off. Usually they take off right down to the creek. I had one the other day that went right down this little track, and he ran for 30 minutes down that track. But you can watch those guys, they have finally found freedom after having been trapped in the trap all night long, and you can have a spiritual moment in that. These guys are just having a ball. Yesterday morning, I went out to see if there's anything in the trap. Sure enough, trap was caught, and my wife's cat was in it.
Oh my God!
I started to, but I let her out, and my wife said, I knew my cat was in that trap. Yeah, I said, well, why didn't you go let her? She said, but I couldn't let her out, So anyway, that was fun. So here's the deal. There are some myths about spirituality. Because here's the deal. If it's something that's spiritual, we're going to come up with stuff about it, right? We're going to come up with stuff like the kids sitting in the pumpkin patch, right? So we're going to come up with some myths. We're going to come up with some ideas, because the definition of spirituality means something different to everybody. It's often misunderstood or exclusively tied to religion. And it should not be, right? So I'm all choked up about it.
You see that?
But it shouldn't be. Can you find spirituality in religion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. However, it's not exclusively in religion. It means something different. This confusion is understandable because, the real deal is that most people find their outlet of spirituality in some type of religion. Most people do. Other people go a different route. So it's understandable that confusion exists. Spirituality is often depicted in extreme ways that make it seem remote from everyday life and experience. But everyone who has ever thought of something, now listen, this is important. Everyone who has ever thought of something as meaningful has engaged in spiritual practice. How many people think of chicken in a basket as meaningful?
The chicken in a
I don't
basket.
Chicken and a biscuit.
That is
Chicken.
meaningful. Yes, it truly is.
It's
Is-
meaningful to my tummy right now.
Yes. They're wonderful.
They really are.
They're wonderful. Chicken in a basket.
Now,
Basket or biscuit?
Yeah, biscuit. Chicken.
Oh,
Chicken. I've never had chicken in a biscuit, and there's probably two reasons for that. First reason is that that's not a biscuit, and probably a chicken has never been near that.
No, it has not.
That's some kind of flavor that they have made up in
But
it.
they are so good.
Yeah, but those chemicals they put in there taste really good. But if you have had anything in your life that seems meaningful to you, that is a spiritual practice. That doesn't mean that's a religious practice, it's just a spiritual practice. To be human is to interpret the meaning of our experiences. We are always interpreting the meaning of our experiences. Whatever we go through, we are going to come up with a reason for it. Right? I got addicted to alcohol. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, because you started drinking.
Yeah, I started drinking. Yeah, when I was 8 years old, I started drinking. My dad started giving us moonshine when I was 8 years old. So it didn't take long for me to be addicted. He gave us moonshine and he gave us cigarettes when we were that young. I was 8, my brother was 5.
Oh.
My brother smoked cigarettes for 50 years. He finally quit smoking when he was 55.
Wow.
And his dad started him. We had a wreck. Mom was in the hospital for a year. And so he didn't know how to deal with kids. Give them some moonshine, some cigarettes. They had to.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They had every now and then, throw them a biscuit.
Huh?
A chicken biscuit.
Say it again.
No.
It was a pretty tough lifestyle. Did you know that if you dip a biscuit in moonshine, the moonshine don't taste any different at all?
No. I mean, I could assume.
Yeah, it don't taste good.
Have to try that.
So Human life is, look, we're going to interpret the meaning of our experiences, even the belief that life is meaningless. Get a hold of this. I know a lot of people, I deal with a lot of people who they will tell you that their life has no meaning. But even the belief that life is meaningless is still an interpretation of your experience. Right? Something has happened to make you come to the place where you believe that your life is meaningless. Right? So let me tell you something. There's nobody in this room, there's nobody at South Point whose lives are meaningless. One of the things, if you look at yourself in the mirror, and if you can stand to look at it long enough, you see something or someone who was fearfully and wonderfully made. You may not believe it, but you're special. Everybody is special. Everybody's unique. Everybody's different in certain ways. No one has ever had the same fingerprints as you, ever. Down through the whole of history, and no one ever will. That's just the way God made us.
That's a therapy exercise. It's just standing. If you can stand, you stand in the mirror for 1 minute and just look at yourself. And a lot of people can't do it because of how they view themselves.
Yeah.
It's a therapy exercise.
It is a therapeutic exercise. Now, I've tried that, and I can do it, after I get to looking at myself in the mirror, and after, 30, 35, 40 minutes, hi, Dan. How you doing? I have to leave after a while. So, but mine is not that not being able to look. Mine's not being able to tear myself away.
You're so vain.
But you're so vain. Yeah, I remember the song.
Yeah.
So here's the deal, though. We all have meaning in our lives when we've done some goofy, stupid stuff. And look, back in the day, I've done some goofy, stupid stuff that led me to some goofy, stupid places, but my life still has meaning. There's a lot of things that I have in my life that I need to be about doing because my life has meaning. So, and it does. Now here, while religion plays a key role in many people's spiritual lives, we've already established that, spirituality is not exclusively tied to a religious organization or practice. I can be spiritual without being religious.
Mm-hmm.
I can be religious without being spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that. So, religion typically involves traditions, rites, ritual, and the search for ultimate truth. What religion's about. Spirituality is a broader concept, including more general search for personal meaning and interconnectedness. Feeling good about myself is part of spirituality. Is it easy to feel good about yourself?
Not always.
Not always. Not always. Because like we were talking about, there's some stuff happened in my life that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
And, if I continue to I continue to do the things that are not good? Sometimes. I don't use alcohol or drugs anymore, but there's still all sorts of stuff, that I still do that I shouldn't do, right? And so most of us have some of those things that will probably, maybe, never ever go away, but I still need to get to a place where I know who I am and I can live with what I am. So here's some of the things. Religion and spirituality are by no means entirely distinct from one another. They do come together in some places. So your spirituality and your religion are going to come together in a couple of places. One of them is believing in something bigger than yourself. Spirituality, I have to believe that there's something bigger than myself. On my little piece of ground, we named it Double Oaks because I have two huge, big old grand oaks that their limbs just go forever. And they're just magnificent. Those trees are magnificent. They are not something I would worship, but I can worship the God that built those things. And then at our church, we have 3 great big old oak trees. Love those oak trees, And there's something that, they're bigger than I am, but they're not spiritually, anything to me spiritually, but they are something great. So believing that there's something bigger or someone bigger than myself. I am not the end all of creation. Right? Not. I'm not bad, but I'm not. God's made better stuff than me. Finding comfort in a belief system. Right? I have a pretty solid belief system. I know what I believe. I know who I believe in. And I know who I am in that belief system. But if you don't have the same belief system I have, can you have a belief system that's just spiritual in nature and not religious at all?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can see that in your life. I have a belief system that is pretty solid. And if you go out into the woods, you can have a belief system that says, hey, this is, nature itself is my God. You can do that. And just say, you don't even have to claim nature as your God. You can claim nature as your spiritual experience. Yeah, no, we didn't have enough time during break to do all that. So yes, I would go ahead. So searching for meaning in experiences. There's a good Christian song out now by a guy that everybody thought was a little bitty young fellow, but he's not. He's an old man. And he said, I could use a little church right now. I could use a little church right now. It's Toby Mac. Toby Mac is the guy's name. Toby. I think Toby Mac is crazy. Toby Mac is retarded. I've been to a group where Third Day was singing, and Toby Mac, just when he first came out, was the one opening for Third Day, and he ran across the stage, ran up the wall, flipped in the air, and landed down.
Would you say the name of the song?
I could use a little church right now. Yeah. It's a little church right now. I think the name of it actually is Little Church. But so and so people come to church, and a lot of the times, unfortunately, they're looking for an experience there. And sometimes, if they're looking for it in the correct way, they can receive an experience at the church that helps them have an experience with God, and that's a good thing. But you can also go and watch a waterfall and have a spiritual experience there. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But if that's like you can getting next to nature, that serene, looking around you, knowing God's made all that, sit there and talk to God while you're there.
Well, you can do that. Yeah, you can go and have
Not
a
that
religious.
You're worshiping where you are, but you're worshiping God. You
can do that. You can have a religious experience in the woods. That's what my wife and I do. But you can have a spiritual experience that precludes God. You don't have to go out there. If you don't believe in God, then you can go into the woods and have a spiritual experience without religiosity in it at all. You can do that because they kind of dovetail at that point. Living by a set of values. You ever know? I've known lots of people who are just great valued people who have good moral fiber, and they're just good people, and they do the right thing every time, and they do the next right thing every time, but they don't go to church. They don't profess Christianity, but they do the next right thing all the time. The Jewish nation, most of them, there are some Christians in Judaism, but there's not a bunch, and I think there's 13,000 in Israel that profess Christianity, but those people are, they are having a spiritual connection with God and all of that stuff without ever professing Christianity. So you can find these things in both of those. Experiencing awe in the face of something transcendent. What does that mean? Something beyond and above us, something we don't understand. There's often times when I am trying to get closer to God and all of those things, and stuff happens, and I don't understand it, but I do know that God did it. Now you can do that in the woods, you can do that sometimes in the city, you can do that sometimes with your children, all of that kind of stuff. You get to a place where you're beyond yourself and in that special place with just yourself at that point in time, and that's spirituality without a whole bunch of religion in it. But they kind of come together there. So what are the benefits of being a spiritual person?
Being in tune with yourself.
Being in tune with yourself. What else?
Lightness, joy. It's just a good feeling, man.
Just get a good feeling about it. Yeah, and if you will walk around the building here 3 times and accept spirituality, and you get to trying to become spiritual, we'll give you $5 a piece. And that will see that's part of the benefits of spirituality. That's not true. I just lied to you. That's a lie. Yes, ma'am.
Like when I ride my motorcycle, it's freedom, and it's me and God.
Yeah. And if you wreck that, it's definitely going to be you and God.
I got insurance, and it's okay too, and I have things. I still talk on my motorcycle because I can concentrate.
You can concentrate when you're riding your motorcycle?
White knuckle.
I concentrate. I don't white knuckle. I have a really good time when I'm riding my motorcycle. I have a little.
I don't white knuckle either.
I have a little Yamaha, and I ride it around.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I got a Harley.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. One of these days they're going to learn how to build those things so that they don't just fall apart on you. I know that's going to happen. They're just about to go out of business. People have quit buying it. They built a Harley that was electric. They spent all of their money on an electric Harley Davidson.
Man, it's badass too, though.
Ain't nobody buying that junk. What on earth?
No,
Growing research. So here's the deal. If you like Harleys, that's great, huh? That's an American company. I'm all for it.
If you like Yamaha, that's even better, huh?
I like my Yamaha. It sounds like Harley, and it's nicer than Harley, and it'll start every time, and it's got all of the bells and whistles that Harley don't even. You can't put them on a Harley because they can't stand the vibration. So, but if you like Harley, that's fine. Growing research suggests that spiritual practices don't just help people find purpose and meaning in their life. Now hear this. Growing research, that means people are researching it more and more, suggests that spiritual practices don't just help people find purpose and meaning in their lives. They can measurably improve physical health, mental health, and overall well-being.
I would like to write that down.
Okay, write that down.
I'm trying to. So when Ian, can I write? Can I?
Yeah, you can look at it. Regular spiritual practice, and look, this is some of the things that's beneficial from having some type of spiritual practice in your life. They can increase compassion, empathy, and attention. Compassion means I'm going to help care for other people. If you have something that you need, I'm going to be the one that's going to try to help you. If I'm being empathetic, that means I can understand how you're feeling. And if I'm paying attention, what does that mean? I'm paying attention. Unlike this class for the most part. But I'm paying attention. Contemplative practices like meditation, gratitude, devotionals, and even yoga encourage inner reflection, which can allow you to understand yourself and others more fully and generously. These practices can also help you pay more attention to and appreciate life's little pleasures. We do that a lot with mindfulness, just trying to live for the moment, in the moment, making sure that we're looking, why am I grateful for this moment?
Why am I get it again?
You'll never have this moment again. It's going to be gone here in a couple of seconds, and it's gone already. So can't talk about it. But mindfulness gets us to hang on to that second just for a moment. It's really good when you're walking through the woods or you're walking down the road or whatever you're doing. You can practice mindfulness, and it will help you get to a place where you're understanding who you are a little bit better, and you're understanding what you really desire a little bit better. You know, look, one of the reasons a whole bunch of us, not everybody, but one of the reasons a whole bunch of us started using drugs is because we didn't like our reality. Things going on that we didn't like. You know, we didn't like our life. We didn't like ourselves. We didn't like our spouses. We didn't like our children. We didn't like our jobs. So the best way to change our reality is what?
Yeah.
Get high. Use a good mood-altering drug, and, you know, suddenly our reality is morphed. Our reality is something different. Our reality is not what we... So what do? We figure out what's wrong with our reality and fix it. Go back, figure out why it is that I'm not happy with my own reality. These are my children. I had them. I was there when they were created. Now they are, you know, they're here. I can't do anything about that, but I can love them, and I can, you know, or this is my spouse. This is the person I have said I'm going to live the rest. Now they may be ugly, but you know what you going to do. You know? Thank God for COVID. Everybody was wearing a mask, you know. I mean, that was nasty.
That didn't work.
Anyway,
Improve your sense of connectedness. I need to be connected. One of the reasons, too, another reason that we use drugs is what?
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. That's absolutely true.
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem issues, all of those things are true. One of the things we did too is that we were not connected. We felt lonely. We felt alone. And if I'm alone, if I'm by myself, nobody loves me, everybody hates me, I might as well go eat worms. So if that's true, I might as well use drugs. Because at least for a minute, drugs are going to make me feel
Happy.
yeah, happy maybe. At least going to make me feel different. Right? At least going to make me feel different. My drug made me feel confident. I felt real confident when I was drinking. But, you know, I learned that prayer makes me confident. And I'm okay with that. Spiritual community such as churches, meditation group, yoga classes, stuff like that can be sources of social support. Providing people with a sense of belonging, security, and community. Because your spiritual community is comprised of people who share similar values, it also offers an opportunity to form strong, deeply fulfilling friendships. This doesn't just improve your mental state, it can actually boost your physical health. Think about that. Now, I haven't used that as an outreach tool, but I think I might. You know, going to church will help your physical health. Right? That's a big deal. Your spirituality can actually help your physical health. So how does it help your physical health? So if you have some type of spiritual practice in your life, what it does, it's going to help you live a healthier life. Spiritual traditions have rules about treating the body with kindness and respect. You know, when you go into church and all of that kind of stuff and you're trying to follow after a Messiah, all of that, even when you're out in the woods trying to do this stuff, one of the things that you come to is a place of respect for your own self.
Yeah.
What is that called? Self-respect. Yeah. And so what do?
You try to treat yourself better.
Yeah, we don't do goofy stuff like use drugs, do we?
No.
No, we don't use drugs. We don't do that. What else?
Wash your face.
Wash your teeth and brush your face. That's right. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Wash stuff that smells. Yeah, you know, you take care of all of those things. You don't smoke.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I agree with you. I said you don't smoke. She said, ew. Yeah, that's what happened when you smoke. Yeah,
We gotta get there. We haven't all arrived.
We haven't all
Morgan
arrived.
Holmes
One
did,
step
I've
at a
only
time.
put one thing in his tongue.
Yeah,
Step at a
I'm working on it, but I gotta get there
One
first.
step at a time. And I'm almost convinced that if you haven't stopped smoking yet, you probably have one step left in you. Maybe two. So this can include, potentially harmful behaviors such as eating specific foods like processed crackers in blue boxes that taste so good.
They do.
You gonna try one?
They're 95.
We won't even need a popcorn.
Drinking
He's diabetic. They have a Pop-Tart.
in excess or smoking. By connecting these practices to higher spiritual purposes, you're more likely to stick to them and make healthier choices.
Can we just applaud her real quick? She got her certificate.
Oh,
Yeah, y'all give it. Yeah, I know that you at South Point don't know what just happened, but be of good cheer. I don't know what happened either.
She got a completion certificate.
She got a completion certificate for what?
She's leaving today.
Oh, this program?
Yeah.
Well, if she's completed, what is she doing in the group?
Well, she still got paperwork to
She's
do.
an overachiever.
Oh, okay.
Good thing.
All right, so she got her completion certificate. Man, you need to listen hard. You only got a couple of more minutes. So it said, look, such as eating specific foods, drinking in excess, smoking. By connecting these practices to a higher spiritual purpose, I'm going to do the next right thing. Look, we talked about doing the next right thing, right? And look, for me, the next right thing is not drinking, right? The next right thing is not smoking. The next right thing is not sneezing on people. The next right thing is what? Whatever the next right thing is. So that means I'm going to have to be kind of cognizant of what I'm doing. I take a look and I say, okay, these are the 2 places I can go or the 3 places I can go. Which one of them is the next right thing? Because I will guarantee you, if something happens in your life and you need to make a step in one direction or another, one is going to be better for you than the other. One is going to be better. One may be great for you, but bad for the rest of your family. Have you ever seen anything like that? Yeah, I've seen people take a job that was great for them, but terrible for their family. And so, you got to make the decision. If I can stay here and my family's going to be great, my family's going to really appreciate that, or I can go take this job over here. I'm going to get more money, have more prestige, have more authority, but my family's going to be miserable. To have it.
No.
You cannot have it.
I'm sorry, I really cannot. I need to watch Lion.
We have this one person who has a bungee cord attached to her head that goes to the clock.
Every time it takes.
So you're going to be, if you are connecting these practices to a larger spiritual purpose, you're more likely to stick to them and make healthier choices. What is one of the biggest ways that you think people stop smoking? And this is not a smoking class.
Stop smoking.
So just stop smoking.
I mean, really, cold turkey.
Yeah. That's the bestest, most gettest way to do it. Go ahead.
Nicotine gum and patches.
Nicotine gum and patches, and
Long Joe getting them.
take those patches and roll them up, smoke the patches. But if we connect that to a spiritual thing, and we know that, hey, I am the major role model for who?
Yourself.
Your kids.
My kids.
Yourself.
And you are a role model for yourself, but your kids. Or, if I talk to people, everything that I've done wrong, or everything that I've done addictively, or everything that I've done that's caused me trouble, I don't want that to happen to my kids. Right? I don't want that to happen to my kids. So I need to understand that as I if I'm their role model, are you going?
Are you leaving?
Are you leaving? I'm gonna try not to.
Yeah.
Ah!
As
Can't you bring him to the practice?
as I'm being their role model, I need to show them what I don't want them to do. When I tell my kids, you do what I say do, not what I do.
Right.
Does that work?
No.
Of course it does. It
No.
gives them the perfect thing to tell their children when they do what you did. Because they're going to do what you do, not what you say.
Right.
They're going to smoke, drink, cuss, use drugs.
Oh my goodness.
They're going to do all the crazy crap that we do.
I mean, yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
Because we are their role model. And then when they do the same thing we do, they'll tell their children, now y'all don't do what I do, y'all do what I say do. And it's going to work exactly the way it did with you. And so your grandchildren are going to come up and say, hey, Grandma.
Hey, Grandma.
It's going to happen just like that. So we need to make sure that we're doing it. So here, it makes it easier.
Bring in the generational curse.
Yeah, it makes it easier to overcome hardships. Do you know that we are liable to have hardships in our life?
Yes, sir.
Now, hardships are going to come, especially if we don't listen in class.
Yes.
Hardships are going to come, especially if we go back to old people, places, and things. Hardships are going to come, especially if we go back to our drugs. And if we go back to old people, places, and things, guess what we're likely to do? Go back to our drugs of choice. So these things, look, having a spirituality in our lives, having a higher power, having God in our lives, make it easier to overcome these hardships. A spiritual framework can help you make sense of life's more difficult events. Things happen.
Yeah,
Things happen. Yeah, they just do. When we get out of here, we go back to our lives. Look, a lot of good things are going to happen. A lot of good things happen. But sometimes bad things happen. Sometimes bad things happen. And look, when bad things happen, what do?
We used to do drugs, but now we need to. I need to God.
Yeah. Look, back in the day, we turned to drugs, which was another bad thing happening. Right?
Yeah.
So we got to know that if they do happen, we have a spiritual higher power. We can go do something. We can go sit in the woods and get in tune with our higher power. We can go do whatever and get in tune with our higher power. I can go to my church building, because the building's not the church. The people are the church. And I can go to my church building and I can sit down on the front pew and I can talk to God. I don't have to do that. I talk to God in the morning when I'm coming to work, and I talk to God on the way back from home, from church, from here to home. I'm gonna have to talk to him about all that. So a spiritual has to do it. It even enables us to find meaning and growth in them. I have a friend who, y'all know, I told you about it, who just lost his son.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to outlive your kids.
Yes.
And this is the second son he's lost.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's really way hard. And I'm at his house, and he's trying to make sense of that. He's not just living in the doldrums. He's trying to make sense of that. And one of the things he told me, he said, well, I know where he is. Yeah, he knows where he is. And he's trying to make sense of what happened. We still don't know what happened. We got to make sense of what happened. We have to make sense of why it happened. And then we have to make sense of why should I carry on? What's left for me if that one has left me?
Yeah.
Marriages do just about the same thing. People who get divorced have a grief number that's just about exact as if someone died. So relationships ending can be just like someone passing away. So that's a hard thing. but we can work those out if we have a higher power and we can deal with that. So we need to. This helps us also to recognize the universality. That's another good word for it. What does universality mean? Everybody does it. You know, it happens to everybody. Everybody has a bad day. Everybody has bad things happen. So we need to recognize the universality of suffering and pain can allow us to see hardships as part of the shared human experience. I'm going through something right now, right? I'm going through a little something, something. I don't have to appreciate it, right? I don't have to like it, right? I have to go through it. And that's a really good statement when I say I'm going through. That means I'm not stopping here. I'm not camping here. I'm not staying here. I'm not living here. I'm going through. Right? So if I'm going through it, what does that mean?
You're gonna pass it. You gotta
Yeah,
get out of it.
it's just like if you ever ridden on a train and they go through a tunnel. You get in that tunnel, it gets really dark. It gets really weird when you're in the middle of the tunnel. But after a while, you see something down there, and it gets a little faint. You know, it's a little faint when it's dark. Before you know it, you're out the other side in the blazing sunlight again, and you're back out there praising God that the train is air conditioned.
Yeah.
But we went through the dark spot. And that's what happens here when we have some spirituality in our lives, we have God in our lives on some level, we can tell ourselves, this is not my place. This is just a place I'm going through. This is not my place. So, questions, comments, or snide remarks?
No, sir.
Do you believe that we learned a little bit more about our spirituality, what it's good for, and all of that stuff? We will pick that up tomorrow, and we'll start from there. I think that we did learn a little bit about spirituality, and we learned that it is something that we need to be a part of. So, y'all be thinking about who's going to do the presentation
What?
to
5-minute presentation.
I would like to